This is Chuck Miller from Oracle, and I want to take you through a demonstration of a portion of our enterprise asset management for the eBusiness suite called Linear Asset Management. Now, Linear Asset Management is part of EAM, and you can use EAM to maintain and track your linear assets. A linear asset is represented by its length and measure values to indicate its start and end point, and has a geometric profile and shape. For example, oil and gas pipelines, roads, highways, utility lines such as water, sewage, power transmission are different types of linear assets. And this is our state safe harbor statement. And I'm logging on to my instance and I'm signed on as a utility manager. And I'm taking the responsibility of the maintenance super user. And once I come here, I want to drill into my assets. So I have selected assets. And then I've gone to my map workbench. Now, once I get to the map workbench, I'm going to do a search. I press the search button, and I'm searching for my asset DP-001, and it has a unit of measure in terms of mile. And once I hit search, the map comes up. Now, for this mapping, we've used the Oracle Spatial Database with Oracle Maps, but I could also use Google Maps in order to look at this too. So I see I have a pipeline that goes from Beaumont all the way to this Route 79. And each of these colors represent a different segment on the map. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different segments on my pipeline that I can maintain as separate instances. And as I scroll down, you see the evidence of that. It's still the same asset, but it has different segments. So it's a segmented asset. And these are my measures associated with that based on my mile markers. Now, when I right-click any of these segments, I can create a work order, view any existing work orders, or create or view work requests, but also see the graphical hierarchy. So I can create a work order that way. Or if I scroll down, I can simply pick the segment I want to create a work order for and hit create work order. And that brings me to something you may be familiar with EAM, which is the work order screen. But this time I've opened up the GIS asset details. And I see that when I create a work order for the segment I have picked, I also am going to work on an additional 2 segments. So I have 3 segments that I'm going to create a work order for. And then when I go and hit the details on one of them, I can see such things as the mile marker from 0 to 45. Got some other information below here, which supports the segment. Now, when I look at the activities, and this is straight EAM stuff that you may be familiar with, I see that I have 3 separate activities for this, and I am going to select the pipeline inspection. So I've created pipeline inspection as my activity for the work order, and I've changed the status to release. And when I hit save, you see this is just like the rest of EAM, where I have a particular work order, which I can drill to, and I see I have my operation. And additionally to that operation, I also have a toolkit I'm going to be using. When I look at materials, I see that there are 2 materials that I could use if absolutely necessary. So this is straight EAM stuff, but I'm doing it for a linear asset based on a segment. Going back to my map, because there's another way to create work orders, I can create a work order based on specific attributes that I may have for any of the segments. So I've selected attribute search, and my entity is going to be a property, could be an element, but the property, and it's going to be pipeline diameter inch, and I've said from 8 to 8. So what I basically want to say is I want to see all those segments that have 8-inch diameter pipelines in them. So when I hit search on this, it brings up a truncated version of the map with 3 separate segments all having the 8-inch pipeline. And now I can use the same procedure by either clicking on the segments or scrolling down to create work orders. As you see, when I scroll down, I see the segments and I see the mile markers associated with them too. That was just a brief demo of linear asset management. I wanted to give you a feel for some of the things you can do, and I appreciate your time and attention.